Okay, this is going to be my review of the Xbox Elite controller. It's £110. I don't know how much that is in dollars, but I think it's $150 in America. So yeah, and I think it's actually gone up in price now that because it's sold out. I got this release day or day before or something. So is it worth it? Was it worth the discussion with the wife, the serious discussion about whether I'm spending too much on computer games? Is it worth that? I don't know. We'll soon see. But so far, it's looking good. I think I know where the money's gone in. I mean, just look at it, right? It is sleek. It is like the sports car of controllers. It's metal. It's like got that sort of high-tech, alloy rubber plastic mesh thing that sort of feels like skin, but very taut, obviously. And it's just nice. It's got what's called the diamond grip. I don't know why it's diamond. Maybe those because they're little diamonds, or are they hexagons? I don't know. But it's not made out of diamond. No, that's not. These bits are metal. Actually, no, that bit's plastic. But that's metal, and it's cool. It feels nice. It's nice and cold. The resistance there is like, in comparison to the old one, oh, that's stiff. And it kind of, as it gets to a certain point, it kind of goes down, and you have to change the way you're pressuring with your finger, whereas this kind of is just one smooth motion all the way. I can't really explain it. I think you know what I mean. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's it. It feels very light, and it's got some kind of cool customizations you can do. Like, okay, it comes in a carry case, as you can see. It comes with like a sort of a kit that can be taken off. It's a magnet. It just bongs on, and that is a really cool thing. Especially even for a 30-year-old like me. You put that on, and now you've got, like, it turns it into a paddle. They claim that that's more accurate for like motion and things like that, whereas this is more for like assigning buttons like reload, open map, etc. Okay, it's got customizable these things. They just sort of pull off, magnetic as well, which is cool. I like that a lot. It's got this one, which is quite smooth, and this one is like more solid, and this one kind of your thumb can kind of slip off it. So I guess I haven't even thought about what that's going to be, but apparently it's been made by like a team of professionals and engineers and all that, and they've been tweaking it for years or months or something. So I suppose it's going to pay off, especially if you're like a bit of an enthusiast with your controller. I'm not. I'm much more of a keyboard and mouse man. You will tear my keyboard and my mouse from my cold dead hands, you beep beep beep. Oh, sorry, get a bit carried away there. But I do use controllers for some things, like for example, racing games. Yeah, I use it for piloting. Anything that really needs something like this. For aiming, any games that are aimy, I use that. And I also now use that, which is the Steam controller, and I have another review for that, and I will make a comparison video after this. So please watch those. But yes, where were we? Okay, so I don't know, it feels luxurious. It feels like a Porsche, whereas this feels like a sort of a Nissan Micra, my first car. The battery thingy bob, which is no longer a shotgun reload, it's more just like, a battery place, is interesting. It's got these paddles on the back, which I'm assuming are going to be very useful for first-person shooter players, because you can basically assign those to be things like reload. So you don't actually have to let go of aim to press any reload button or jump, anything. So basically, you're now able to just keep your finger there and just always be aiming and pointing and things like that. I actually bought it for a different reason, and right now my reason is not possible. I was assuming that you could remap these to whatever you wanted them to be, and you can't. You can't. They don't even behave as their own buttons. They can only be one of these, and you can choose which one, but that's it. You can't make them F, you can't make them Q, you can't make them Control S. In fact, you can't remap anything to those things unless you use some special software like this. Where's it gone? Xpadder. But anyway, we won't worry about that for now. The sad thing is that these do not get detected in their own right at all by the computer. I'm assuming that's going to change in the future, because I really hope it does, because I basically want them. I'll explain what I want them for, right? In a piloting game, you have a spaceship, which we will illustrate with this knobbly little gaming finger. We'll call him Murphy. So Murphy basically has what should we call it? Axes of motion, right? He's got okay, he's got pitch, he's got roll, okay, those are three, and then he's got left, right, lateral thrust, up, down, lateral thrust, and forward, back, lateral thrust, which can also be the throttle, I guess, but it's better to have them as two separate things. I play a game called Elite Dangerous, and that's why I got the Elite controller. Very good. And right now, with the standard controller, you cannot possibly have all of those 6 without letting go, without making some weird combination. I want to be able to do all 6 without letting go, while still being able to fire. So I was really hoping I could turn these into something all of their own, but I can't, which is a bummer. I'm going to have to come up with some clever way of using this, but then I'm going to run out of buttons. Ugh, whatever. So I'm a bit disappointed by that, but overall, I'm still going to keep it because it's a very, very nice controller. I mean, look, just look. This is plastic. It's just so gamey. It's so like teenage, like 12-year-olds. Even less. It feels like 8-year-old thing. Like, and this feels like, you know, this is the gentleman's league. So yeah, let's go on to the software. The software right now is extremely bare. And for some reason I can't record the software, probably because it's a Windows app, and Windows apps kind of have all their own kind of security features that make them much better than EXEs, and also much worse, because the APIs are a bit lacking. So let's controller connector and get started. Right, before we go any further, let me just point out, oh gosh, there's been a crash. Whatever. Let me just point out that at the moment, as at the time of writing, you can only connect this to a PC with a cable. There is something about December, they will release a receiver, but it won't work on the old 360 receiver. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking of using it in the living room or the bathroom or wherever you decide to play your games. Right, so let's go through the software. The first thing you can do is you can name it. I've called it Kai, I don't know why. You can also explore some of the features. That doesn't do much more than do that. So this is the one that I find a bit of a letdown, which is the paddles, which you can actually take off, by the way. And it says attach up to 4 paddles and assign a wide range of inputs. The wide range is just the 14 standard button combinations. So that's a bit of a letdown. You have now what's called hair trigger locks. Let me show you what that basically is. This is basically, right now, because this is a whole smooth thing, and if you tap it, can't hear anything, right? And it goes all the way down. It's about, let's say, 1.5 centimeters, maybe. And if you flick the hair trigger at the back, which is, there's a picture of it, and it is there. If you flick it down, then it becomes basically a button. It still goes down about 0.5 centimeter in comparison to that. Oh, that's a really nice click, by the way, really nice. But yeah, it's like for, especially for like semi-automatics and stuff. And it's very hard to push that back up, by the way, especially if that pedal's there. I guess you have to remove that pedal. Anyway, okay. And last but not least, you have the feature of graphing these. That's a bit of a misnomer. I'll show you what I mean. If you do go to the graphing section, hardware settings, let's say the left stick. So these are your options. You've got default, which looks like that. It's just straight, as in that is half of that. I guess, yeah, it just goes in a straight line. The amount of power is steadily increasing in a linear fashion. Then you've got slow start, which basically means not much is happening, not much is happening, not much is happening, bam, you got full power. So I'm trying to picture the scenario where that's useful. I'm not really a controller enthusiast in that way. Oh no, my plaster's coming off. What am I going to do? Okay, well, we'll have to maybe swap hands. Okay, that makes more sense. Right, and yeah, so I really don't know what scenario that's going to be good for, and guess what? You can't change that. You can't edit it at all, unless I'm missing something. That is just a picture. Okay, and then you've got fast starts, which basically means that you tilt it a little bit, and you're already almost at full power, and then you're still going up and up and up, and then like already when you're like 3/4 of the way there, you're at full power, so that doesn't make a difference. And then this is kind of instant. I call this the arthritis thing. For some reason, some people might think, you know what, I don't want to move it too much, and I want to be at full power straight away. I don't know why, because there's no difference between that and that to me, but I guess if you've got arthritis, so yeah, it could be a problem. I really don't get the point of that, and I don't know why that's such a big feature, but you know, let's just roll with it. Okay, and yes, the triggers. Okay, you can sort of set dead zones, which is very nice. I've got quite a few games where those are really sensitive and they just get moved by themselves. For example, Space Engine. Yeah, so that's good, and you can mirror, which is a nice effect. And then you've got the vibration. Right, the vibration on the Xbox Elite controller is lovely. Right, let's talk about the first one. This one, left impulse, that basically vibrates right here on the triggers themselves. And it feels like one of those ultra fast vibrations from those like arcade things when you were like a kid, where you have to hold these two metal bars and they start vibrating, and it feels like an electric shock, and you've got to see how far you can last and all that. And I was really good at that, but I'm good at everything, so that's not really any news. Yeah, so those are really cool, and they're actually really powerful. Whereas the left main and the right main, obviously, that's this bit vibrating here, and this bit I can't really point. Yeah. And that's like a rumble. That's very, 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 very like satisfying. Definitely an improvement of the Xbox 360 controller, and I'd say even better than this. But we'll get onto that. Yes, and you can set those obviously to maximum power. Well, I don't know why you do anything else. And then for some reason you can set the brightness. Don't know. Yeah, and then finally you've got the button mapping, which is very simple. You set B to left bumper, and you set left trigger to Y, and it's just, you know, that's all you can do. You can just mix and match them. At the moment, I don't see the point of that. I really don't. Like, okay, if you're a proper enthusiast and you're taking one game really seriously, and you want to be able to create these things that you can switch on the fly just by pressing a button on your controller, you can do that. You can do that. So you can suddenly swap B and X. I can't picture the scenario where that's going to be. What I'd much prefer is if you could set these to whatever the hell you want. And as I say, I've got a piece of software called Xpada, which lets you do that already. So I'm going to still be carrying on using that. Not really gained anything by buying the Elite controller. And again, you can't map these paddles at the bottom. And that is the most annoying thing for me. And I really want to create some kind of petition to Microsoft that should be a thing, that you can make them their own buttons. I mean, seriously, be yourself, guys. There's no point pretending. You've got to be yourself in life. That's a lesson for us all. That's a lesson we do not learn from the Xbox 360 Elite thingy-bob controller. But all in all, I'm happy with it. I have faith that these things will improve. They do over time. No matter how pessimistic we do get about Microsoft, they do generally deliver, you know, sort of half to 3/4 of the time. And I think that with all the money this is going to generate for them, you know, I'm not going to speculate, but basically when things are shaky at the beginning, I don't even bother to mention it. Here's your little profile switches and things like that. Yeah, there's yeah, so there's not really much more to say. Basically, it's the sports car of controllers. I don't think it's worth £110, but you know, if you're a controller enthusiast, then I really think it is. But for some of the things, the Steam controller is better, and we're going to do a comparison video, as I said. But overall, I give it, let's come up with a number, let's say 26 out of 41. That's a bit low, actually. 26 out of 37. It's more like a sort of, it's good, but not perfect. It's got room for improvement. And if I were you, I would check for this channel. I'm probably going to do another review when it gets better, especially when this whole thing improves. So yeah, go for it, buy it, enjoy it, and so long.